There's a Gemara in Sukkod Brachas about one of the Mekayros for Kaparas is, I think it was Rav Kahana. Someone came into him and asked him a shaila. On Erev Yom Kippur, they found on the street a chicken, which wasn't had no simanim on it. They wanted to know if it was kosher or not. Could it be that it was a treifa? And he said in Erev Yom Kippur, most chickens that are on the street in the Yiddish town come from kaparas, or kosher chickens. So therefore, you could assume it's kosher. So with halachas, it's very practical today. Many places you have, especially we eat on planes, we eat in all types of places, and food comes in, and it doesn't have a chaysim, a seal, and wanted to shaila if it's kosher or not. So it's Rabbi Kasimov. We're very zeichet to have Rabbi Kasimov, and he'll give us your.
Okay, Hatzvi-Bais. So we're not going to be speaking the Inyan Dalid Minim, like it says on the flyer, but we'll speak hopefully something else which is a little bit practical. I don't know how practical it is in Pittsburgh. In New York City, there's a big fad, whatever it's called, that you have takeout food and delivery, v'cholo. There's a whole industry that you have about many goyim. They have these mopeds or these bicycles, and they bring your food, they deliver your food. Today, in Mustaman cities out of town, it's not so common. But one of the big shilas is, it's coming here too, yeah? Okay, very good. Adrabah. So it's coming here as well, Baruch Hashem. So to understand, there's a big shilah which is involved when a guy brings food. When you give food to a guy, or you leave a guy together with food by himself, we have a big concern. We have a few concerns that the guy may actually sabotage the food, so to speak. He may take what you have and he'll put what he has instead. He'll be machlif of the food. So there's a whole discussion in the Rishonim. What kind of foods are we chayshish for such a thing? Right? Are we going to be chayshish for very cheap food? Are we going to be chayshish for very kosher food? There's a go by what kind of isser it is. So we have the Tur. These halachas are found in Simkuf Yud Ches, where the Tur he brings. There's a memra of Rav in the Gemara that chavis, is the Rosh Tevis for chatichas dog, basar, yain, utchelas. And then he brings another Rosh Tevis of champag, which is chalav, murias, pas, and gvina. These things are required, all of these items are required to have a chesam if you're leaving them together with a guy. It's only the guy in the house by himself. Or if you have this object and you want to send it to somebody else, so you're giving it to the guy, he's the only one who's going to have it with him, and he's going to bring it to the other person. The halacha is that you need to have a chesam. So when it comes to chalav, chatichas dog, a piece of fish, basar, which is meat, yain, and chelas, these things require two chesamis. You need to have a chesam b'tei chesam. You need to wrap it up in two different seals. So there's a whole interesting machlekes. By the way, why does it say chatichas dog? Why does it say a piece of fish and not just a dog? Because a fish has its own chesamis. If it has scales, fins and scales, you will see right away if it's kosher or not. So that's why it's medag to say a piece of fish where you only have the fish itself without any of the other simanim, and therefore if you're sending it with a guy, it's required to have two chesamis. So we have a machlokes between Rashi and the Rashba. What exactly is the difference between what is the requirement to have something which is two chesamis, and what gather would something need to have only one chesam? So Rashi learns that anything which is expensive, a guy is going to want to be machlef. He's going to want to switch over what he has for what you have, right? So if it's damim, yikarim, if it's something which is a very expensive item, meat, you have good meat, you have a good fish, whatever it is, he has, let's say, lower quality meat, lower quality fish, whatever it is, he's going to want to be machlef for your meat. We had already a few years ago a story that you had a restaurant that was serving kosher food under a Geisha ownership, and it wasn't really machlef. He just brought in l'chatchila, not kosher. You see very clearly that if it's a question of money involved, of saving money, whatever it is, a person may take the risk to swap what he has for what you have. The Rashba, on the other hand, learns that no. When it comes to Isurei Deiraisa, something which is forbidden on a biblical level, something which is also minatayra, that we're more concerned by. That's why you need shtei chesames. You have to make it harder for the guy, right? If he needs to get past two seals. So if it's an Issa Deiraisa, we're much more concerned. You put 2 seals. In Issa D'Rabbanan, we're making that only 1 seal is enough. So now the question is, that is what we're talking about. So let's now take this foundation a little bit to make it in a practical way and bring a very, very common shaila. You ordered pizza from the store. You ordered Chinese takeout from the store. The store, which is under Jewish ownership, you have a mashgiach over there. You sent it to your house. Who did he send it with? A guy. And guess what? When it came to your house, there's no seal, there's no chesamis. Based on what we said, you have a problem. It's a big problem, right? How do you know the guy didn't... it depends how it's put, but it could be, yeah. Very good. Oh, we're going to speak about that. The Kasimov will speak about that. Technically, according to what we just said, you may have a problem. Okay, so the halacha is if something requires 2 chesamis, it requires 2 seals. B'diavad, if they only put 1, if you see everything's okay, b'diavad is going to be fine with 1 seal. The question is, and it happens sometimes, they send with nothing. There's no seal. So how do you know B'chlal it came from a kosher store? It could be B'chlal the guy was carrying a bunch of different products, right? And he's giving you from the Geisha Chinese store instead of from the kosher Chinese store. How do you know the product that you're getting is actually okay? Would you be allowed to eat it or not? So let's go a little bit into the poskim to see if there are any tzedakah kula. So first of all, the Shulchan Aruch, I apologize, I skipped the Shulchan Aruch. The Pesach is like the Rashba. Anything which is a Deiraisa, we would require 2 chesamis. So meat. Again, you're ordering from a Chinese place, whatever it is, or any other meat store, a burger, whatever it is. So, you're mechuyev to have shtei chesames. A pizza, you're only required to have chesam echad. You're only required to have 1 chesam. So, let's discuss one fundamental din.
Why isn't the pizza maybe a shaila that I said to also the public?
In a chanami, if there's a chash that it's mamish from a non-kosher place, you're stuck. But if it's a question if it's in a kosher place or not, in a chanami meaning it's only a shaila of chalul akum, you'd be okay. But if there's a real concern that they really switched it for something else, then you could have a bigger problem. So the first din that we have to be ma'ayin in a little bit is na'ana bechalipin. What does that mean? Meaning to say like this: when would we be concerned that a guy is going to start playing around? If he has what to gain, right? That he's going to be nahana b'chalipin, he's going to go ahead and actually take the risk to swap what he has for what you have. Why? Because he's going to have hana, he's going to derive benefit from your object over what he has. So the question is, let's start with that foundation, and then we're going to see how it plays out in the Shulchan Aruch and in the Rishonim. And let's see if B'chlal, this is a tzad, something to even be done on. What would be the tzad? We have a person over here who is working, right? So to go and say that he wants your kosher takeout, so he's going to go now, spend money, and go to a non-kosher takeout just to be able to swap it, it doesn't make too much sense, right? He's going to have non-kosher meat, or non-kosher chicken, whatever it is, and he's going to be nahana, dafka with your food. He's going to be nahana b'chalipin. It doesn't make so much sense to say such a svara, right? He's doing his job. If he really wants Chinese takeout, he'll faster steal it, right? He's not going to. He doesn't have any hana for actually swapping what he has for what you have. Now, however, we're going to speak about that. Like Marim said, the Tzemach Tzedek's not so happy about that. But there is another hechitimsa where we could be chayshish to it. Let's say the guy dropped your food by accident. He dropped your food. That's going to be a big problem. He's going to get bad ratings. He's going to get in trouble with. He's going to get in trouble with the restaurant. His ratings are going to go down. It could be worth it for him to go and purchase from the non-kosher store just to keep his job in line. So first of all, let's see. It'll cost him less. In the long run, he's going to gain much more by doing so. So,
What happens with Amazon's deliveries where stuff actually get mixed up?
that's much easier because that comes still in the packaging. When you're getting it's not from a restaurant, you're getting packaged food, packaged product. It's still in the package. It has the OU and has whatever it has. If you see it's untampered with, then it's fine. Here, the problem is it's ready food. They're sending it in a paper bag, sealed, but it's not a real seal. It's just tinfoil. That's all it is. So first of all, let's see, does the svara of nene b'chalipin or eine nene b'chalipin, does that play any factor in halacha? So first of all, we have the Mechaber Shulchan Aruch. He says like this: if you leave a guy in your house by himself, which is another halacha, which it's kedai, the whole shiur just for this. It's not so simple to leave a guy in the house by himself because he may start playing around. He may touch your wine, which is not mavushal.
More common shayla.
Big time, yeah, big time. He may bring his own lunch, use your microwave. He may turn on. It's a big concern. So if the whole shiur was, can I just to mention this Nakoda, to be careful on that, then it's worth it. So the eitzah given the Shulchan Aruch is you have to appoint somebody who's Yetzav Nichnas. You pop in and out. Even if you're going to leave for a long time, the Shulchan Aruch says if the guy doesn't know that, he thinks you're coming any moment. There's a mirtas. The guy's afraid to start up to do anything. He knows he's not allowed to touch your things. You warned him, don't touch my microwave, don't touch my oven, don't touch my stovetop. I'm going to be back momentarily. You can be going out for half an hour. As long as they don't know that, it's okay.
But the reality is, though, the average person who has a guy in his house,
They know what's going on.
before he leaves, tell him, hey, don't touch anything over here.
Correct. So if they know lechatchila, correct.
You have to actually tell them.
That's right. The guy has to be aware not to touch anything, and they have to have a mirtas. Yeah, correct. And they have to have a mirtas that they really think you're going to come in at any moment.
No, not you can use the microwave.
Not for his food. Because he's going to make it no kosher.
No, but you have food in the freezer, and you can take food from the freezer and put in the microwave, not your food, of course.
But his own food?
No, you have food that you can use any food in the freezer. You can cook if you want. You can, but just use
Only in the
my
fridge.
food.
It depends. If it's not cooked before, we'll see. There's a problem. There could be a problem with bishul akum. Well, maybe. We'll see. So then there's another heter which the Mechaber brings in the same sif. That when are we worried? What is their concern when he's being nana b'chalipin? When he has what to gain. However, if he's not nana b'chalipin, if he has no gain from swapping his food with your food, then we're not concerned. So l'chayra, it would seem from this Mechaber that eina nana b'chalipin is a strong svara to be makel. You have food, you left it out, you made a mistake, you didn't put a chesam on it, you didn't, right, you had your chicken, you're defrosting it, you made a mistake, you left the guy, you didn't tell him anything, that you're coming back any moment. So if he's not nana b'chalipin for whatever reason, l'chayra, seemingly from the Mechaber, the fact that he gives you such an eitzah, it would seem that you're okay. Now, the problem is, there's another Mechaber, which this is a stira in the Mechaber himself, which is there's a tshuva from the Tzemach Tzedek to be miyashev shittas Mechaber, that the other Mechaber says that when are we mekel, when are we seimach, that he's not being the hand of b'chalipin, it's dafka when you had a chesam, alamai, by the time it got to you had a seal, by the time it got to you it was mekulkol. So if I'm able to be teila, if I'm able to say that the seal was ruined by accident, he wasn't careful, right? He put it in his bag. Because of the tiltal aderech, it got in the skalka by itself. Okay, if it looks good, he's not nana b'chalipin, I'll be seimach on that. I'll be teila the fact that the chesem is mekulkol on the fact that it was a mitirdas aderech and has nothing to do with him actually being machlef his food for your food if he's not being nana b'chalipin. It's a problem. What's the problem? Okay. So what's the problem over here? Seemingly we have a stira in the Mechaber. One place it was mashma that you have a klada. It's a good hatter. Calls man the guy is not being nana b'chalipin. No problem. You're fine. On the other hand, if you look early in the Shulchan Aruch, he's only mekel when you had one chesem, and will be mekel if it's mekulkol. We're not going to answer your food. Which all the Mefarshim point out that you only mekel with the svara of eina nana b'chalipin if you actually had a chesem. which would seem that there's a stira in the Mechaber himself. So there's a very, very geschmack tshuva from the Tzemach Tzedek. He goes through the sugya very, 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 very geschmack, and he's ma'arer on the fact that there's a stira, and the Tzemach Tzedek is dan, and he's magda. One of the very, very geschmack things in the tshuvas of the Tzemach Tzedek is birurei hashittas. He goes to the sugya and he's mamish mevader every single shitta, and then he goes to the actual shaila to see how you have to paskin on it. So in this tshuva, the Tzemach Tzedek, what he does is mevader in the Rishonim who holds what by einin ane b'chalipin. So first of all, he says you have the shitta of the Tosfos and the Ran that they both hold that einin ane b'chalipin is a heter gomer. When are we matzrich? When do we obligate to have a chesam or shtei chesamis? It's dafka when there's a concern that he is nehena, that he does have benefit by exchanging his object for your object. However, if he's einin ane b'chalipin, according to those two rishonim, you're fine. However, you have the Rash. Nothing. If he's not ane b'chalipin, it's a heter gomer. You don't need anything. The Rash, on the other hand, says that about somebody's Yireh Shamayim shouldn't be seimach on this. He gives room for it, but Lamaisa, he doesn't fully accept the shitta. Then you have the third shitta, which is is there a reason for the machlekes? Yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah. Then there's a third shitta in the Rishonim, which is, am I going to lose out any money? In order for me to now go and start playing a game to get to your food, am I going to lose anything? Dafka, if I'm going to have to spend more money than what I'm gaining on, even though I may have a side benefit, I may, whatever it is, I'm going to save my job, I'm going to be able to copy your recipe, I may have some sort of benefit, but if I'm going to have to spend more money to get to your object than the actual value, putting the side value on the side, the actual value itself, that far we're not going to be cheshish. We're going to say is einin ane b'chalipin. The machlekes is how the tava v'goy, how far he's going to go to play around. So now let's take this svar of einin ane b'chalipin, and let's try to apply it.
Beginner questions, I will not bother you with that, but I am not really understand the machlokes. Like we talk about just food, we talk about
food. Yeah, now it's food.
So the machlokes is like if we did like a mix of his food and your food.
He wants your food. Your steak is better than his steak.
Okay.
So he's going to change his steak for your steak.
Okay.
So that's a question. When are we choshesh to it? That he's going to switch.
And why you choshesh? Because you're going to eat something not kosher.
Exactly. He's going to switch for yours, and you're going to eat chas v'shalom something which is not kosher.
Okay.
So einin ane b'chalipin. So first of all, even if let's say your item is not so expensive, he's not going to lose so much money. So technically, if he would have dropped, there is a chitimsa, maybe he would have dropped the food. There is a chashash that he messed up when he was fulfilling the order, and he may go that far to buy something else. The shaila is lemaisa to be cheshish for that. We don't have to be cheshish so far. At kedei kach, it's not something which generally happens, and to be cheshish that far, generally it's a case of einin ane b'chalipin. So you could be mitzad of the shit of Tosfos and the Ran as a sniff. By itself, it's not so simple, because you have other. You still have the sveikel nafka. We didn't fully answer everything, but al kol panim, you could be mitzad of the shit of Tosfos and the Ran as a sniff that lemaisa in a general case al pi roiv he's not being nana b'chalipin. He's fulfilling his job and that's it. And about the job, the Mother Manosa, we're going to get to that in momentarily. Now, there's another heter, which it depends on the community and the norms of the community whether or not you can be seimach on this. There's a din if you're going b'derech mavir rabim, if you're going in a populated area, we're afraid that the guy is not going to start playing around. Why? Because imagine if somebody's going to catch him. He's clearly a delivery man. He's going to start playing his food, your food, people are going to get suspicious. Right? So we're going to say because of that, we're not going to be cheshish as well if he's going in a public area. Now, there's a few catches to this halacha. Number one, it's only b'diavad, which any case, we're dealing in the case which is b'diavad. L'maisa, we're dealing in the case where the food already came to you. So b'diavad, you have what to be seimach on. Then you have another sniff. If it's a Yiddish kehillah, there's a isv heter aruch says afilu l'chatchili you can be mekel. If it's a Yiddish amongst a Jewish community, right? And the guy is bringing the food. He's going to be more afraid, and according to Isvat HaOruch, you can be mekel afilu lechatchila. You don't need to put a chesam because he's going to be much more tzaddus if he gets caught once going in a public area. So that's another sniff to be mekel on. Now there's a few catches to that. Number one, depends on the kehillah that you live in. That you have to see. If there's a kosher restaurant which is sending food, mistama, you're going to be okay. However, right, the fact that there's a kosher restaurant shows you there's demand for it. There is a kehillah. However, let's say it's two families on shlichus. One wants to send meat for the other one for Yom Tiv. It's not so simple. If you're sending with a courier, you can't be samech on this l'chatchila. You have to put a chesam, and only b'diavad if you sent it, we're not going to be machmir. But there is a problem. This taka depends on the norm in every different city. There's a Beis Shlema, there's a Tuvia Beis Shlema. He writes like this: When do we say that you have a heter of derech mavir harabim in a public area? That's all if he's fully exposed to the public. But if he's in a svina, the example that he gave was in a svina, he's in a boat. Nobody sees what he's doing in his boat. He says you don't have a heter. So today's day and age, you have to be careful. You can't just answer the shayla. You have to see what's the norm. How did he bring it in? In New York City, everyone goes with these bikes, these mopeds, whatever they're called. So he's clearly exposed to the public. If he's going to start playing games, he's going to be caught in a moment. In New York City, I don't know if anybody's going to care, but that's a separate problem. I'll call upon him in out of town. That is the problem, correct. The only thing is, if he's in the Yiddish Kehillah, they will care. They will see that he's playing around with food. They will care. If he's in Manhattan, nobody's going to say anything. But so it depends on the Kehillah. If the person, you have an Uber Eats can either come in a car, then you have a problem. You can't be samech on this. Or he could be in his bicycle. Then you have a tzad to be make another tzad to be make on b'diavad, and if it's a Yiddish kehillah, you can be make on afilu l'chatchila. Then there's a third hatter. The third hatter is what happens if you.
All of these really a practical thing. You say the super guy, let's say he has a vest on his moped that he puts on his food. And the shleima that he starts the day off with a pizza that's not kosher in it,
And
then you know what he's doing there.
Correct.
Again, practically speaking, it might not all.
Correct. Yeah, you have much more to be worried about. So that's what we're going to get to the last point, which is going to hopefully take care of that. I think so. At any moment, you can have a yid walking in the street.
I think the answer to that question is, you don't define. Each case is different.
Correct.
Nobody can tell you, your community is like this.
Correct. You have to be down on each kehillah. You have to see the mitzias, what's on the street.
Depends on the block, depends on the area.
Depends on the block and depends which way he took. If he drove by.
And then
Correct.
you go through a back side street.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. You have to interrogate him. But that in itself, he doesn't have. If he's working for the yid and he's doing it with shlichus the yid, then it's fine. He's doing his job. Then there's another two svaras. Is on top. Hopefully. He needs a mashgiach. Yeah, that's right. Then there's another svara which is brought in the achreinim to be mekel on, and that is we have another three. Hopefully, that is if this food is miyuchad for a certain place. You're buying a place from a place. So the example brought in the paskim is food which is only nimtza bein ha-Yehudim. This is strictly a Jewish food, and it's not matzoi by the goyim. So if it was sent again b'diavad, we're talking b'diavad, you still need a chayisam, but b'diavad, if it was sent and you open it and you see that this is a food which is miyuchad, that it's only found amongst the yidin, that itself b'diavad you can be samech on. Now, based on this svara, many want to extend it to if a restaurant is going to have a signature dish. It could be other places that make the same food, but they don't make it the same way. It's clearly coming from this specific place. They have a signature sauce, they have a signature baguette, they have a signature chicken. It looks very, very different.
That would already be like a simon.
Yeah, exactly. That is according to some poskim, that's a simon in the food itself. That if it's a signature dish, you know clearly that the only place in town that makes pizza with this and this crust, they're known for it, it's a signature, whatever it is, you're not going to get it anywhere else. So b'diavad, if you ordered it from them, that's what came to you. Again, it's not right, it has to have a chesam, but after the fact, Many poskim say that this itself, that there's an actual chesem, there's a siman in the food itself to be made on. So you have the Pri Chadash amongst others that are samech on this.
The other option for that is that many stores have a specific way that they cut.
Yeah, exactly. That is where in the Shulchan Aruch it's brought down that when you're doing nikkur or whatever it is, the meat itself has the cut of a Yisrael. The way you cut the meat, it's only by a yid. You know for a fact that itself, that the Shulchan Aruch is brought down, is a siman muvag that it's from a yid. So the poskim extended too. So it's not a cut in the meat itself, but it's a dish which is miyuchad amongst the Yisraelim, amongst Yehudim, amongst Yidden. That itself is a very strong, again, b'diavad siman to be semachan. Then there is another sniff of umalei marumanase. You have a job, right? If you're going to start playing around, people are going to be meranin on you that you're playing around with the food. I ordered this dish and I got another dish, or it didn't come the same way. What's going to happen? Maybe not after the first time, but after maybe 2 times, maybe after 3 times, you're going to get fired. Your ratings are going to go down, right? And that's going to follow you forever, right? You have a resume. They're going to call your previous employers. They're going to hear you got fired. You're going to be blocked out from the entire Uber service because you're mechanical people's orders. You're going to go to Lyft or whatever other services there are. It's not going to be so simple to get a job, right? So there's another svara which is brought down in the poskim of umalei marumanase, that we're not chayshish, so that the guy is actually going to start playing around. So that itself, again, the Daki Tshuva brings some poskim that say like this, that itself is another svara to be made on b'diavad. However, in the Tshuva of the Tzemach Tzedek, he's not semach on it if there's no chesem. It's a uman.
Definition, he has to be a uman.
Exactly. So the question now is like this. So now it depends like this. Rabbi Rosenfeld put out the $1 million point. What's going to happen over here? You have to be an uman, right? As somebody who has a prestigious job, he's miyuchad for he does a certain thing, right? He's a doctor, he's a shoemaker, whatever. He has pride in his work. He's an uman. He doesn't want to ruin his reputation. If this is a side job, right? It's a side gig, so to speak, and tomorrow he's going to become a cashier. He's trying to make it bite. He's trying to make ends meet. He'll become work in a cleaning agency. You don't have the svara of uman. It's not so simple. Now, so it really depends like this. How do you view it like this? Is the restaurant using a courier service? Then you're stuck because today he's a delivery man. Tomorrow he's going to be a cashier, whatever it is. That's one. It's not so simple to be samech on that. Sometimes you have people on staff which represent the company itself, and they have a little bit of a stake in the company. It's much less common. It's a family business, whatever it is. They take pride. That is definitely much more of a stronger svara to be made on. The problem is you're not going to find that by restaurants. You're going to find workers to work for minimum wage. And that's what you're going to have. Today he's here, tomorrow he's there. The only svara of how you can apply it to today's day and age is if there's a paper trail after this person. That even though it's not specifically an umnus for this job, but it's an umnus as a person. If he's going to have a red flag on his resume, right, who did you work for previously? Okay, let me call them. You always call references if he's legal, right? You're going to call the person that he worked for previously. He's going to have a red flag. He's going to have a red line on him, right? So even though he himself may not be an uman, le'inyan zeh, but it's going to ruin his umnus as a working person going forward. So that's the only svara how you can apply that umalei marumanase to this case. Then the last svara would be kshira. You don't have necessarily an actual chesam, but they were kosher, they tied it up in the store. Does that have any value al pi halacha? Because technically you can untie it and you can tie it yourself, right? So there is a discussion in the poskim how much you can be samech on for by kshira as a chayim. Some say you have the shit of the Rashba, which is the easiest to understand. That kshira has no bearing, has no value when it comes to a chaysam, because just like you made you're a kosher, so too you can also tie it. There's nothing miyuchad that's showing that it's yours and didn't tamper with it. So the Rashba is very, very easy to understand. He says it's not. You got food which is tied, it's worthless, you can't be samech on it. The Bach, on the other hand, says that actually kshira is considered a chaysam. Because how are you going to explain his svara? Pashat. something is tied, technically maybe there's room that you could be able to tell this was untied and retied sometimes, right? It's not the same way. Maybe the material that you're using it folds. When you tie it, it leaves folds, it leaves crevices in the material itself. The guy's going to open it up, he's going to see this was tied twice. He's going to be chayshish to it. So that's potentially a way that we can understand the shit of the bath. And that, correct. And the Matthias. Correct, yeah.
Why is the shita and the type of dish on the edits?
No. This is all b'diavad.
What?
This is all b'diavad. No.
Why does Simon Lachatila food is almost the edit?
So, because Lamaisa, no. So the truth is, a meichel which is mamish miyuchad only found by the Yidden. So the pri chodesh has a fil lechatchila.
This restaurant has this type of dish.
So then you would apply the same as far. It's also lechatchila. Correct. If it's mamish a dish which is miyuchad, then the pri chodesh is a fil lechatchila.
Yiddish cut, why they don't make the edit?
It's also lechatchila. If it's mamish only miyuchad by the Yidden. Yeah, no. It's a fil lechatchila. The Taz. Correct. And the Taz says.
You have restaurants here that can tell the pizza.
Correct. If correct. If they have a signature pizza, a signature crust, whatever it is, yeah, they pay money. That's how they make all of their money. Then the last shit of the Taz, which is if you have a kosher mishuna. It's not a regular kosher, it's a differently made kosher that not necessarily everybody's lucky to make. It's something which only the balabas knows how to make. It's a kosher mashuna. You know, if it came like this, not everybody's able to copy the same kosher that the restaurant has. On that, the Taz is makel. So let's now take all of the svaras together and let's put it together. You order pizza from Milky Way.
Kasimov reading from his published sefer. Be in bookstores in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So you got food to your house, whatever. You came home very, very late. You were not able to make supper. You had to order out, whatever it is. So let's think about it. So if there's Devrich Mavid al-Rabim, even if it's a Shchunas Nachrim, even if it's a Geisha place, but Lamaisa, he went in populated roads, he clearly looks like a delivery man. So that itself, b'diavad, the Taz brings whatever it's brought down. B'diavad, you could be mekel. But again, you have to ask, where did you drive through? Are you going through a place which is populated? Did you go in the middle of the night where everyone's sleeping? By 10 p.m., that there's nobody on the street. It's not going to help you anything. Oh, so today it's much easier because today they have it. See on the phone his route.
So are you do you have to then check his route?
If he came without a chaysim, you should check. You can't trust him because he's gonna. Well, if he doesn't know why you're asking, then he can say, you can ask him, how's the traffic today on this street? You have to know how to ask. He has to answer you in a way of Masich Lefitumai. How's the traffic today?
Today, if you want to order it that way, you have to be a lamdan.
You have to be a lamdan, yeah. You have to get the guy to be Masich Lefitumai. Or today, many of the courier services, you have tracking on your phone. You actually see where he went through. That's one it's had to be mekalon. Again, it's on chatchila. This is only b'diavad. B'shchunas Yisrael, which again, this is kol mikra legufa. You have to see each community for itself.
If you're in the airport ordering Uber Eats,
it's not going to help you for shchunas Yisrael. Why not? Why would it not help you in the airport? No, we're saying shchunas nachrim is good b'diavad. This is what the Aruch says. Shchunas Yisrael is a filul chatchila. So that's number one. There's a catch.
Not so much as far as you're concerned, but when you order it from, you know that they made two simanim.
Correct.
Order it from a place that you know they have a good mashgiach, and before they send it out,
you have to make sure there's two simanim. Exactly.
That's not your problem. They made two simanim. The simanim are there.
You're good. You're fine.
Practically, they'll use very much.
On this. The what?
Like pizza shops, they're very cautious for pepperoni.
Big time. 100%. It is a big concern. It is a very big concern. It's a day nice of big time. It could be 2 day nices. Depends on the meat. side the treifus or the nevela or mina shene kosher. So that's number one. Number two, you have to ask, how did he come? Was he in a bicycle? Then you can be samech on this, but if it's in a car, you can't be samech on this. Is the food miyuchad that it's only for Yidden? If it's then that itself, the diavad is okay. It's a signature piece. You can chant and kogel. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there's whatever. There's a minchas asher, but the chant is not. But akopon, that's right. So that we'll leave on the side. There's namash b'diavad umen loymarum and also we're not chosher is going to play around because even though he may not be a professional, but lamaisa it's going to ruin his ability to get jobs in the future if he starts playing around with his current job. Kshira, if it's a kesher mashuna, or you can be samech on the shitta of the bach that kshira helps. Again, that's as a sniff by itself. It's very hard to be samech on that. If he's ein and eine bechalipin, so you have taisus in the round to be samech on, and yeah, that's yeah. So lemaisa only order from places that you have a good mashgiach. This is only that's yeah, exactly, yeah.